Hey everybody, my name's Stuart Moore, and on this video we're going to go over just a quick little garden hack. This is a modification to a sprayer to reduce the amount of drift you're going to get if you're using a non-selective herbicide like Roundup or some of the more organic options that are out there. If it's a non-selective herbicide, it is going to kill anything.
Nothing would survive, not even bacteria.
And you typically don't want to do this on a very windy day. The problem is, when I've got time to do maintenance, I have to do maintenance. Especially now that everything's starting to warm up here in the Ozarks. The nursery is super busy and I don't have a lot of time. And I've kind of taken on some consulting on the side. So I really am not having a ton of time to go through and pick which day I'm going to do this. I mean, when I get an opportunity, I go out and I do some maintenance. So as you've watched in some of my other videos, I advocate for a pre-emergent to put down just to, again, mitigate the amount of landscape maintenance that I have to do, but I also use post-emergent. So this is a little hack that's going to keep from getting that drift. Okay, so check this out. Get a pair of scissors. I always got pruners on me, so I kind of figured out a way to do this. Now, you always got a cup riding around in the work truck, but if you wanted to go to Dollar General and pick up 100 of these little cups for $1, you could do that too. So I just poke a little hole in there. Now, you don't want to go too far down. Take your tank sprayer. Now, this tank sprayer is for neem oil. My other tank sprayer that's almost identical to this is for my Roundup, but that one was covered in spider web, so I didn't want to bring it out to show you guys. Then I'm just going to put this on the end here. And sometimes it takes a little bit more finagling. There we go. Okay, so now I have this little cup on the end of my tank sprayer. And as long as when you wiggle it, it doesn't fall off, you're good to go. But this is just going to go right over the weed, and then you give it a pop. All right, doesn't really matter what your sprayer is set on, and I usually don't have a whole lot of pressure inside the tank. That's going to reduce the amount of drift you're going to have. Now, with practice and understanding and using your sprayer frequently, you're going to be able to tell how hard to squeeze your trigger here in order to where that is just going to drip out nice and slowly. All right, and that's what you're wanting to do. You just need that Roundup or that non-selective herbicide to come into contact with the leaf, and it should do its job from that point on. Now, I do use a little bit of Dawn dish soap inside my sprayer, wiggle my backpack, since this is a backpack sprayer, wiggle my back a little bit, shake it up really good, and it helps that stick on, so you don't need to completely cover the entire plant with Roundup. It does help. It speeds up the process a little bit, but if you're just wanting to kill it, and it's really close to, say, your purple dome aster, you want to get that weed that's right next to it, but you're worried about the drift, this would help out a ton. So that's one thing. And then when you're done, right, you can either just throw it in the shed and leave it like this, or you just pull it off. No big deal, right? So you haven't permanently marred your sprayer. Now, the second tip I've got, and this is if you don't really trust yourself too much, is I just get a sponge. I roll this up like this, and I cut off about 1/4 of the sponge. What are we doing here? Boom. Probably work better with scissors. So now I've got 3/4 of the sponge left. Just going to wrap that around the tip of my sprayer. All right, and this is going to keep it's going to keep that stream under control, and it's just going to drip out of the sponge. So typically what I like to do is I like to get just some cheap, again, I just got all this stuff at Dollar General, with the exception of the Mountain Dew I'm drinking. This is not a sponsored video by Mountain Dew, by the way. Why do people have to say that? Like I'm not a extreme landscaper or a snowboarder or something. Why would I ever be sponsored by Mountain Dew?
Mountain Dew will tickle your innards cause there's a bang in every bottle.
even though I spend about half of my paycheck on it. So now I usually use a second zip tie just to keep everything nice and sturdy. And then I clip off the ends. So throw some zip ties, $1 worth of zip ties in the truck. Throw about 3 or 4 packages of these sponges. And then when you go out to a job, your tank sprayer has been modified to do those fine-tuning jobs, especially if you're on like a mow crew or even just at your own personal house. You can hit this and it will just drip. Let me see if I can get it going for y'all. Let's see there. Yeah, so that's full throttle. So now it's just dripping. Okay, so it's just dripping a little bit. So once I get it saturated, right? So I usually do this maybe in the parking lot a little bit, just get that sponge saturated. I can just dot this onto things, like almost like I'm painting it on. Or I can hold it really close and I can hit that trigger. Let's see if this will pick up. Right? So I'm super close to the plant. I just hit that trigger and I just get a couple drips out. And that's really all it needs if you're using something like Quick Pro, which is the professional grade Roundup. Just 1 or 2 drops on a dandelion, that thing's deader than a damn doornail, and it's only going to take a couple days, if not that day. It just depends on the heat and what your kill rate's going to be. I like doing this. I can go in with more precision, get underneath branches, just touch this to the plant. Maybe I'll give it a little juice, maybe I'll give it a little hit, and what I just did it just then, and 3 drops came out. Right? Well, now it's fully saturated. So now I can sit there and I can tap the dandelion, or I can tap the piece of nuts hedge, or I can tap the Bermuda. I can run it along the Bermuda. And I don't got to worry about it spraying. So the problem is you can't pick and choose when you're going to do your job. Your job is today. Today is the allotted time for me to go in and take care of this landscape project, and I'm not going to be able to do it today because it's windy. No, you got to find a way around that. I mean, we got to make money, we got to work. So that's where I came up with this. I mean, you can even use a come and go cup to do that. Here, let me show you that real quick. This is kind of my preferred method. I like to use the come and go cup because I always have these rolling around on the truck. They're a little bit harder to get going, but seems like they stay a little bit longer too. All right, let's just slide this on the end. Come on, baby. Boom, there we go. All right, that thing's not coming off at all. So check this out. I mean, that's a lot of protection, right? You could actually just move a branch of something over, give it a quick little pop. You're good to go. Yeah, so try that out. Try these big, this is a 44-ounce cup. Try it out. My name's Stuart Moore, guys. Thank you very much for letting me into your home to talk about plants. Like and subscribe. Boom. Broke the internet with this bad boy. Just broke the internet. You guys saw it. Whew, that gets the mind right. Don't worry, internet. It's not soda. It's Jameson.